Emerald Morrow is down in Bradenton. She's been making friends wherever she goes. She's a lovely person, so not at all surprised. But Emerald, what are you seeing down there? Who are you talking to?
Okay, so Dave, last time, remember I was like, I'm not going out there. I'm not messing around. I feel a little bit better, so we're going to just step out. The wind gusts are not as strong, so I feel comfortable stepping outside because you guys know I'm not going to do anything to put myself in danger. But like I said, the wind gusts have calmed down. It's still raining a little bit in the area. We do have some people out here who are watching the hurricane as it passes. We have Shandon. Come on over. So Dave, you asked who I met. I met Shandon.
Hi.
Hi. So nice to be here with you. Not really under these circumstances, but you seem to be in a great mood. Now, Shandon told me that he does restorations, and he's in town working on Longboat Key after Hurricane Helene. So talk to me a little bit about, being in town and having to evacuate here.
It was a little different. We don't like to be here under these circumstances. And we definitely did not see this coming for quite some time, but we had to make some adjustments. And obviously we brought a lot of crews down and we're working on Longboat. And as soon as the evacuation came, we had to get out. So it was kind of a kink in our plans to evacuate and move so quickly. But we got everybody out safely, and this is the nearest place that we could evacuate to. But we're in good spirits. The last thing we want to do is panic and cause more chaos. So all you can really do is just have good spirits about it and ride this thing out.
Yeah, that's a really great attitude to have. You came down from Michigan, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you don't get these types of storms up there in Michigan.
We do not, no.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the work that you were doing on Longboat Key.
About every place had storm surge on Longboat Key, so we were working pretty extensively on a lot of condos and resorts there, trying to get them dried out and residents back in place as soon as possible. And obviously this puts a little damper into it, but we're going to wait for the storm to pass. We're going to wait for everything to check out, and we'll get back in there and assess and make sure everything's safe to get back in order.
So is this going to extend your stay even longer? Are you going to stay around to do cleanup after Hurricane Milton?
I expect myself and a bunch of other people in this industry to be here for at least a year. So there's a lot of damage here. There's a lot of people that have damage to their homes. It's going to take a lot of time. There's only a certain amount of companies that do what we do, and we're going to get everybody put back together, but it's going to be quite some time, I think.
Wow, a year. I was not expecting you to say a whole year. That's a really long time, but you'll get to go back and be with family here and there, correct?
Yeah, I'll go back and check in. We'll probably come down here for 2-3 weeks at a time, go back for a few days, and come back and continue to get everybody back in their homes and their buildings stabilized and everything else and put back together. So
yeah, and emotionally, talk to me about when you're working on these homes. You must encounter so many people who are just at their wits' end, who just are gutted.
Yeah. That's the one thing that's bad about my job, but also good. So we meet people on the worst days of their lives, but also we're here to put their lives back together. So it's quite the emotional process throughout the whole thing. But at the end, when people give us a hug, it's worth it. When we can get residents back in and everything put back together the way it was pre-loss condition, that makes it all worth it.
Yeah. Shandon, wow, thank you so much for the work you do, and thank you for taking a little time to talk with us.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Continue to be safe. Thank you.
you.
Thank you. All right, so you heard Shandon giving a really good story. I mean, I was almost inspired by what he had to say about coming in and doing that type of work and helping people recover. It's just truly amazing. And, this is the type of spirit that we will see. I know this community is going to come together and after Hurricane Milton, make sure that we wrap our arms around each other as this community works to recover. Reporting live in Bradenton, Emerald Morrow, 10 Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Emerald, good points there. I'm just wondering, how are people handling not knowing what they're necessarily going back to? Like, for example, in St. Pete, they don't have, the problem with sewage, but and the people don't know whether or not their homes are damaged. How are they handling extending the reservations there? Are they going to have to get out, let's say, by tomorrow or the next day? Do you know how the hotel's handling that?
So, Dave, I can tell you I spent quite a bit of time talking to a woman here who, she said she's homeless. She had a home along the Manatee River, and when Hurricane Helene came through, it just destroyed her home. So she has actually been here since Hurricane Helene. So just imagine what that woman is going through. So the hotel has been gracious, and she talked about how the community's really come to wrap their arms around her and bringing her food and gift cards and things like that. And she just had this incredible spirit about herself and just was, in a way, just relieved to have somebody to talk to and just to listen to her story. So I'm glad, even though that she's not here with me, standing by me for a live interview, that I'm able to share her story, because she just is a shining example of hope even in tragedy. But the hotel has been gracious to us even. So they're definitely working with people. Again, as I've said many times tonight, anxiety is high. We've spent time on Anna Maria Island where we will walk down the street and you just see piles and piles of debris. I know it's something that we have seen throughout our Hurricane Milton coverage, but people, again, this anxiety is so high. We spoke to a woman, she was walking her dog, taking her dog Ayla for a little walk before the storm came through. She was like, I have to have something normal in my routine because we don't know what we're going to come back to. We have 2 homes on the island, and you know, this is just too much. We were also recovering from Hurricane Helene. So those are the emotions that people feel, and those are what the things that they are going through during this time. So, you know, again, I just think the community, whether it's businesses like hotels or just, you know, your everyday person, they're really coming together to wrap their arms around the people who are going to be and are now impacted by Hurricane Milton.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. Animals have a way of kind of centering us during these tough times, kind of being kind of a calming force for us, which is great.
Yeah.